first thing is our year-end treat here. We have the spin and win promo. So make sure if you're interested in getting either content or software from the store, Actor Core store as well, a marketplace, you can spin this wheel to get some pretty cool vouchers. We got some really good stuff there. Even a $500 voucher, which is insane. So if you have some free time and you're looking to purchase anything really, just go ahead and check out this page. I'm going to throw this link in the chat window for everyone, just so y'all have it. Hello from Colorado, Stephen. A lot of people joining in today, and Jeff from Australia, all over the place. Okay, and next one, this is the same promo. If you are a student or a teacher, make sure you apply for our 60% discount as well. So that's the largest discount we offer. We highly encourage you guys, if you are a teacher or a student, to check this out and get your discount in the for this. This goes for software only. Okay, not for content, unfortunately. Just for you aware. And if your teacher is looking to experiment with, any of our software in the classroom, let us know, and we get you have a free semester license that you can apply for. That gives you all sorts of basically any software you want just to try out for a little while there. All right. Okay. And I believe we have one more link here. Is this the? Oh yeah, the AI render link. Sorry, I had to go back to the main page. AI render bundle, that is on the forum. I believe it should link to that. Okay, so yeah, make sure you check out our AI render beta. I think you can access that from the main page. I'm not sure if that was part of the promo or not. Reillusion cannot be found. That's not a good sign. Reillusion. There we go. That's what I'm trying to get to. But yeah, AI services. There's AI Smart Search Accupose Interactive Agent. I believe one of these links here on the main page will allow you to access the AI render beta, or in the forums possibly. But you can probably just search that. But yeah, the AI render. We have some webinars that we did with GSU last month, I believe, and with Max Thomas and James Martin, which were really good. So you can check out our webinar archives to find out more about those. If you go to Learn Free Online Tutorials, I believe most of you probably know how to find our webinar archives. If you don't, courses.reillusion.com, webinar/upcoming. That's this one today. And we also have one coming with Gary Pye, and that's actually tomorrow. So make sure you check that out, and some more later on featuring video mocap. We're going to be doing a little bit of this video mocap in UE5 a little bit later today. But make sure you check out the one later this month with Michael Tiedtke, who's a really pro user on that. And yeah, cool. We'll talk more about that later. Let's make sure we share my character creator screen now, since that's my introduction for the live demo. I'm going to just move this down here, actually. All right, let's stop that sharing. Should be me on the screen there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started on character creator. I'm going to introduce you to the profile, and then we'll get started in Blender and Unreal. So lots of exciting stuff to come up. And like I mentioned, any questions, put your questions in the Q&A window, and we'll get to that. All right, so we're going to share screen one here. And I'm going to hide my webcam for a bit, just so we don't interfere with any of the motion capture later on there. Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware, Character Creator 5, we have a new HD profile that is really good for facial animation. You get the most detailed facial animation possible, really, in recent history. And you can find that on all of your CC3, CC5 characters. So they're also known as CC3 plus characters. If you check out the character in the top right there, you can see all the information. CC3 plus right there, HD Aaron. Okay, so make sure that your character is CC3 plus. And to find the facial profile, you can go to facial profile editor here, and you can select edit expressions. Okay, and when you select edit expressions, it's going to tell you which kind of facial profile you have at the top. And there are what are called corrective blend shapes. Okay, so these are all a collection of blend shapes, 200 odd blend shapes, I think 236 or something. But we now have CC5, this profile right here. And we'll talk about how to upgrade your CC4 to CC5 a little bit later. But yeah, so there's things like corrective right here. So if we go to like eye blink, for example, and we like blink our left eye, and we went to like eye look, and like we have left eye look down right now. If you had a previous profile and you tried to do this, it would kind of really stretch out the eye. If we deselect corrective, this is what would happen, okay? And we have these corrective sliders that automatically activate to prevent any sort of kind of weird, crazy, extreme expressions on your character's face. So if you want to see, you can say view corrective, and that's what it looks like. Okay, that's the corrective corrective slider right there. And you can click that off. And if you click currently used, you'll see it right here. So it'll blink L, look down. Okay, this one right here. This is the corrective slider. All right. So whenever you use these, it's going to automatically throw in a corrective slider, and that'll help with preventing any sort of crazy, weird facial expressions and stuff. There's also, for if you open your jaw, let's just reset this for now. Like jaw, there's a jaw open, and then there's like a jaw extreme open as well, for example. Where is that here? Oh, at the very bottom. Why is it the extreme? There we go. Jaw open extreme. Okay, so normally if you would do this like with a previous profile, it would kind of just like make your character look like a really weird, huge open mouth, which wouldn't really look too cool. We also have a corrective slider here as well for this one. So if we use click on currently used, you can see we have the jaw open extreme corrective slider. When it has that little check mark, it's a corrective slider. So that's just kind of an example of what the HD profile. One of the best things the HD profile does. And if I hold Alt and 2 here, you can see we have a very nice topology for these characters. And you also have the option to change the subdivision level for these characters as well. There's subdivision level of 0, subdivision level 1, and subdivision level of 2. And I recommend basically just trying to stick with 1 unless you're doing some really cool, like really high level stuff. You'll generally want to stick with subdivision level 1. Okay. So just, yeah, keep that in mind. I'll show you the topology for Kevin later, which we'll compare. And also with this comes the new plugin. We have the HD face control here. Okay, so there's a face control panel. Where did that go? Oh, here it is. Okay. You can zoom in and out of that. You can use your middle mouse button to scroll through it, and you can control your character using this control panel. So this, if you're familiar with MetaHumans, this is kind of identical to the MetaHuman one. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in Unreal. If we deselect edit expressions in our facial profile editor, we'll be able to mess around with this and see how much detail we can use to do things like if you click on all of these different sliders here, you can hold shift and select multiple ones, or hold control rather. And you can, kind of give him like a brow expression like this. You can move his mouth around. Now, one cool thing about the HD face control is the mouth is a lot more easy to manipulate here. So you can, move it around, and you're not going to get, the teeth breaking through or anything like that, thanks to the corrective sliders that that I showed previously there. So, you can take your mouse sliders and move them all around, hold control and select multiple ones, and, get some really kind of crazy expressions. Okay. We do something like this, for example, and there's also plosives. Let's just deselect like these lips blow ones here. If you move out your face like that, you can see it still has very good control, and there's no mesh breakage or anything like that. So you can get some really cool stuff going. I'm gonna make his expression a little angry here. We need to hurry up with this because we need to get into Blender as well. Okay, so he looks perplexed enough, I think. You can take his eyes and move them, to the side maybe. Okay, so an expression like this, you can create these really easily, and there's so many different sliders here to mess around with as well. You can even manipulate the individual eyelashes. There's mouth push and pull. There's lips check here for the viseme shapes. Okay, You can mess around with all these. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think, you can kind of just experiment around with it yourself, and that's how the best way to learn, how to get the expressions that you like yourself. So, you know, um, my nasal nostril dilates. You can have those as well. Okay, so an expression like this, for example, if we were to, throw in Kevin, who is a CC4 character, he was our CC4 mascot here, and just replace Kevin, you're going to get some different, facial expression results. Oh, did we load in the character? I think so. Yeah, and then I'll show you the difference and how you can basically quickly upgrade the HD or the previous profile, which is called a CC4 extended profile, and apply it to your CC5 characters. Oh, no wonder. I had a window pop up on my other screen. So you see Kevin load in just a second here. Okay, so he still looks okay. It's still a little bit strange looking. Maybe the face is protruding a little too much. There's some very subtle differences that are here that are hard to see. And if we go into the facial profile editor and we edit his expressions, we'll see a little bit of a difference. You can see here we have CC4 extended. All right. And if we did something like the eye blink and the eyelid thing that I showed earlier, eye blink left, eyelid or eye look, left look down. Where is look down? There you go. You can see it just automatically does that. So it doesn't have the corrective sliders that we had previously. And when it comes to facial motion capture and stuff, you'll see that have a result. And sometimes your facial mocap will be like a little bit extreme. But thanks to the new HD profile, it's really good. So I clicked on the CC4 extended thing. I need to bring my window over here. And this gives us the option to upgrade from a CC4 standard or CC4 extended to an HD profile. Okay, so when we apply this, it's reversible. We don't need to save generally. So now it's CC5, and now we have way more blend shapes to mess around with. There's a lot more detail. You can get much more subtle facial animation. And again, if we just do the eye blink thing, you'll see here. I look down. There's a lot more eye look downs first, okay? And it had, excuse me, it has that corrective slider there. Now there's a little bit of an issue with the eyelash, which I'm not sure. I haven't seen that before, but yeah, generally it's going to prevent any of the extreme expressions that you saw earlier. And we can also now go to plugins and HD face control. Open that up. Oh, it's already open. And then mess around with this. And if you wanted to take this guy into Blender, we'll do that in just a moment here. Okay, so then those facial expressions are still a lot better, and we can mess around with it and yada yada. Okay, let's see. We're going to do next here. I'm going to load in a project that I have saved. Now this project was giving me issues earlier, so I might need to giving me watermark issues earlier for some reason. But hopefully it's not going to do that right now. And then we'll export this guy into Blender. And I'll show you how to use Blender data link. And then after that, we're going to move on to Unreal. Yeah, see, it's now doing the stupid watermark thing again, which it wasn't doing this morning. But let's see if we can activate purchased items. Because I do want to export this guy. This is the guy I had exported before. And I already have him in my Unreal project. But in the Blender project, I wanted to get him in there as well because this is one of the HD anatomy characters that come new with Character Creator 5 there. And let me see if this works. Sometimes it does. But if not, we'll just take a different character in. All right, womp womp. Still got to figure that out. Let's go ahead and start a new project then. and we'll bring another character in. I'm just going to whip up another guy real quick. See, this is the HD and the human anatomy set. This is the character that I used. Maybe if I reload him in, I won't get the because these guys are really cool to look at. Like this male drudge character, the male elder, they're very, very high detailed. The textures are excellent, and I think they look really good in Blender. So, unfortunately, still getting the watermark there. But okay, let's do Aaron then. Hooray! Yeah, let's give him the Aaron with clothes. Why not? And we'll throw this guy into Blender. Oops, need to replace all. All right. Just looking in the chat there. I might as well load up Blender. Blender only takes 2 seconds to load anyways. And bring it over. Let's just delete all here. Okay, now with the Blender auto setup, it's a free plugin that you can get from the website. Let's find it over here. If you're a Blender user, this is going to be like a lifesaver for you. It's super good. I'll bring my window over here so you can see it, and I'll throw this link in the chat for you guys as well. This is an excellent plugin from Victor Supte, who's worked with us for quite a while. You can see this in the chat now. There you go. For Stephen, for your the question there, the corrective sliders come automatically with the HD facial profile, just so you're aware. And yeah, so here's the Blender auto setup page. You can find all the information here, like how to install it. It's pretty easy to install. You just go into your add-ons in Blender and install it. There's some tutorials on that in the Learning Center. You can kind of go through this on your own time. I don't want to spend too much time since we got other stuff to work on. But yeah, this is the you can free download up there and find all the information there as well. So when you're in Blender, just press the N hotkey to bring up your side panel here, and you'll see CC pipeline, CC create, and CC link. So link is for the Blender link that we're going to be using in just a moment here. You can connect it, but first I'll go into character creator. Let's just, you know what? We don't need character creator really. You can just throw. Actually, I did have another character in iClone, which is already loaded up here. So let's see if I can load that one up. Recent projects, here we go. Yeah, this is a different, slightly different one, but I think this character shouldn't have any issues with the watermarks. So he doesn't look as punkish as the other guy, but still looks kind of punkish. All right. So we'll just work with this. And now you can send characters from, there's Blender data link with character creator and also with iClone. So, you know, if you go up here to plugins, there's your Blender pipeline and data link right here. Okay, and I just like to dock it to the side all the time. And then once you're in Blender, just click on connect. Okay, and then back in character creator, you'll see the option to send avatar. These are pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions about them later on, I can definitely help you out with those. Let's give our dude an expression using our face control, which we already have opened up. Let's like something similar to what we had before. I always like to have that perplexed look on the face. And just control selecting all these sliders here. And then the nose, nasal, blasal, whatever you call them. There you go. This always makes for a good expression. And so all you really got to do is just send this character to Blender, is just click on send avatar. And what send avatar will do is it'll send your character along with the expression as well into Blender. And then there's lots of stuff you can do in Blender. You can rigify your character in Blender, which gives you it's the same standardized facial HD control here that you can use in Blender. It looks and works great. I can show you some brief animations on that in just a moment here. Once it loads up, let's close down this other stuff here. Yeah, data link is in CC4 as well. Auto setup plugin for Cinema 4D. Yeah, we're working to get something with Cinema 4D. Eduardo mentions here in the chat. We do like a lot of the stuff they do, and I think it's a really good pipeline to get in there. Okay, and Ryan Snyder's mentioning Benjamin Brochinski. Yep, I'm aware of him. CC4D tools, well worth it. Absolutely. Um, this is sampling actually the motion bone, the entire timeline of our CC character into Blender here. So it takes a little bit of a two shakes of a lamb's tail, but it'll be loaded up in just a moment, and then I'll show you all the cool things we can do there. And then we'll get into Unreal for the final. We're going to do some audio editing, audio lip syncing in Unreal using MetaHuman Animator, which I find is quite excellent, and showing you how to export that into iClone for further editing. Okay, that should be in Blender now. And then in Blender, I'll show you some quick settings. Just, if you want to update your pose, you can update your motion here. Send pose just sends like a single frame. Okay. Send motion sends the entire sequence of motions. Looks like he's not wearing any pants, but he is. All right, so just go into our shading mode here. Viewport shader. All right, so he looks kind of weird right now, just with that stupid expression on his face. But there's lots of options here. You can just go to CC Create down here. Sorry, rather CC Pipeline. And then there's Scene Tools, and you can just change these lighting presets to something a lot better than this one here. Okay, so boom, now you can see we have a nice realistic, and this is only a 2K texture as well too. So you can actually throw in all the CC characters come with 8K textures up to 8K. Now, just be aware that'll take a lot longer in terms of processing time, but there you go. There's an outdoor one. I like this dawn one. It's pretty cool. This dawn one was pretty realistic. So, and again, this is just an a quick Eevee render. I believe I'm in Eevee. Yeah. You can change to cycles if you want for your render engine. And then you can go down here and there's is it character build settings? You want to make sure you change to cycles here and then click rebuild materials if you so do intend to use cycles as opposed to Eevee, but I'll just use it Eevee for speed's sake right now. Just select rebuild materials when you change your render engine. Just be aware of that. Okay. So now in Blender, we have the option to like rigify our character, and that can be found under CC Create. Whoops, sorry, Pipeline. Let me just get my stuff rigging in animation, and you just click on rigify. Okay, and this will take a second. So when I do this, I'm going to move into iClone and start on the other stuff for Unreal Engine, just because we have about half an hour left before we get to the Q&A, and I want to have some more time for Unreal because I'm going to do three different animation modes in Unreal. We're going to use audio, we're going to use video, and I'm going to use my webcam as well, which is my webcam is currently turned off to avoid the conflict. So yeah, Rigify will take a few minutes for your character, but it'll give you the Blender rig that you can mess around with. And while we look at that, while we're waiting for that, I'll briefly go into character creator here. So I'll go through these really briefly. So send avatar will send your entire mesh along with the animation, everything. So generally you don't need to do this every time. What you want to do is obviously get your avatar into Blender first using data link, and then you can send pose, which just basically be aware that wipes the whole timeline in Blender, and it'll basically replace all your animation in Blender with the current pose. Um, yeah, I'm just looking in the chat here. Oscar mentions here, is this session saved? Yes, we are saving this on YouTube, and we'll send you guys a link after this. Auto Rig Pro also work with your rig. Not at the moment, for Joshua's question there. Just again, we're going to be answering more questions at the end in Q&A, so you can always put your questions in Q&A as well. Send motion. I just want to continue this. We'll send your entire motion update from character creator or iClone into Blender. Live sequence will link the motions. Okay, so when you edit it in Blender or edit it in character creator or iClone, it's going to automatically live update that animation. So that's another way some people may like to work with this data link. And update replace is for the accessories and clothing. If your character has any on it, if you want to update the hair or the eye color or something like that, click on update and replace. You can also obviously edit the morphs. Now, when you're editing the morphs in Blender, just be aware, do not change the topology. So the Rigify is still working here. Do not change the topology when you modify the shape of the character in Blender. Don't change the poly count, because otherwise it'll just kind of wreck the data link and you won't be able to send stuff back and forth. And one question that everyone always asks here is, there's 99% of the questions I get about data link and live link and all of our plugins really. It's like, oh, it's not working for me, like on tutorial videos or something. It's not working. The number one thing that solves 99% of issues is just making sure all of your programs are updated to the latest versions. Okay, so with your Real Hub here, I'll show you Real Hub real quick. Real Hub, just make sure all of these are updated to the latest versions, your HD face control. Just go here to updates and you can refresh it and make sure that, all your products are up to date. So all of the plugins can generally be found here. The MetaHuman Live Link, we won't use this one later, but we can always talk about it later. The Blender pipeline is right here, and you can find the page by just going to this main area in your Real Hub, and Blender pipeline and Blender auto setup can both be found right here. Let's close this down for now. Let's see if Blender's updated. Okay, there we go. All right, so now with your Rigify in Blender, what you can do is you can just go into pose mode here. And then you just basically grab all these little control points like we did earlier, except now you have to use Shift instead of Control. Okay, so now you can, that's his nose, moving his nostrils around. So just use the control points and press the G hotkey. Obviously, if you're using Blender, you want to just press G to grab. Okay, and you can see all the keyframes shown down here. If we adjust this pose, let's do something a bit different. Maybe let's take his jaw up a little bit more. Okay, that looks a bit like a very interesting expression. And again, so many things to experiment here with all these blend shapes. But yeah, we just wanted to update that. Rigging and animation, just with CC link here. So again, you can send your sequence, which will send all the frames here in Blender, but we don't have any animation. Oh, we do. Okay, there we go. That was the first frame here. So just send this pose to Blender. Okay, just click on pose, and it'll say sending pose request, and then in CC, boom. Okay, there you go. So the pose is updated, and you can edit in CC and send back to Blender. Now I'm just using poses because animation will take longer, and I want to get to Unreal. But yeah, this is essentially it. That's really the Blender data link pipeline, which I think is so awesome. I use Blender a lot myself. So with this type of power in Blender, it makes it really easy to move back and forth between character creator and Blender. And again, thanks again to Victor Soup Day. You'll find all your animations in here, by the way, if you're doing your motion sets. You can update them, you can clear them, you can load more. Yeah, just so you're aware of all the different. There's a lot of stuff to go through in this in this Blender auto setup. And we have tutorials on it as well. So yeah, mess around with it, and I really encourage you to. Great pipeline. But let's move into Unreal now, okay? And if you guys have any more questions about the Blender stuff, you can always just ask me in the Q&A as well. Okay, so let's open up Unreal, our Unreal project. And we don't need character creator. Let's use this punk guy. We can close character creator now. He kind of looks like a punk, doesn't he? I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. Okay, so I'm gonna throw in my Unreal project here. HD face demo. Okay, so important is we'll talk about the export settings first when you're exporting from iClone to Blender. So again, I mentioned earlier with the HD facial profile, it's fully compatible with MetaHumans. You can actually, I'll show you later how to replace body parts. You can replace MetaHuman body parts with your character creator body parts, and vice versa. Okay, so the two types of characters are now fully interchangeable. Whichever one you want to use, they're all there. So by the way, the facial profile can be found under Actor, facial profile, CC5 characters, and you'll find the different facial profiles for here. So this one is 390 plus blend shapes. It says right there. So yeah, and if you have more stylized toon characters, you can use the stylized toon expression or facial profiles as well. Okay, and these are all HD, high-level HD profiles. All right, let's throw in our project here. Okay, so I was going to say when you're exporting from iClone, a couple new things. You need to go to export, and yeah, the export to option to export FBX. Okay, and all my windows are on my bigger screen now. Okay, and now you have the option for UE5 skeleton. Okay, so there's UE4 skeleton before. Now we have UE5 skeleton, and your settings, you can see here, there's a few more UE5 settings here. You want to make sure you choose the same skeleton. A pose for UE5 skeleton. Now you do not need to use T pose as bind pose. Okay, you do not need to use this anymore. This was a previous one that we had to have. And I always like to delete unused or delete hidden meshes, which is somewhere here. Okay, maybe that's only in character creator. But yeah, those are the new Unreal Engine 5 options. Now I won't bother like exporting and importing a character in because it takes about a few minutes, and you can probably be doing other cool things. Luckily, I've already imported that other character that I showed you earlier with the kind of different haircut. And we don't actually need iClone right now, but should I keep it open? Yeah, we'll keep it open because we're going to animate it in just a second here. Okay, so in Unreal, let's just open up my content browser here. So I have this character that I brought in earlier. You can see here. And when you import an FBX into Blender, I'll just show you the option windows just so everyone has it. There's a couple of tutorials that have been recently done on this. But when you import the FBX, there's just a couple more things to be aware of. So this is our punk character. Let me just move this window over so you guys can see it. Zoom is in the way again. So I just maybe make a temp folder. I'm not going to actually import it in anyways, but I just like to keep things organized. And when you bring it in, punk.fbx, you want to make sure you have high quality shader selected. Okay. And just a few quick options to go through before we get to the actual animation part. And we can spend the next 20 minutes or so doing some fun animation. And for those of you who aren't aware, I used some audio files from 11 Labs. If you're not familiar with 11 Labs, labs.io. It's AI generated. It's just fun for messing around. I don't recommend using it super for professional. Well, it's really up to you, the level of your project. But I like to support voice actors. Um, so I have this audio here. You just basically type in your own audio. Okay, the haircut thing is just um because you'll see his haircut. It's pretty wild. Anyways, and then you can export this from 11 Labs. Really great site. I use it for testing this stuff all the time. But yeah, where's our import window? Okay, maybe it just hasn't come up yet. So this is why, I kind of prefer to import things previous to webinars because sometimes it'll take a long time. Okay, here we go. So now when you import, you don't need to choose a skeleton. It'll just generate the skeleton automatically and they'll be compatible with MetaHumans. Again, you don't need to use T0 as a reference pose, but you do want to make sure you import your morph targets right here. Okay. And like I showed earlier, you want to make sure that if you have animations, you want to import animated time. Okay. Right here. And that's basically it. Keep everything else at default. Again, I'm not going to worry too much about this because I've already imported my character. And this is using the Unreal Engine auto setup, which is awesome. Again, another free plugin. Um, Illusion. You should be aware of this, and if you're not, you definitely got to pick it up if you're an Unreal user, because this basically just brings everything into, again, you can see the skeleton mapping, shader assignment, hot hearing cloth physics, LOD deployment, everything is already set up for you, taken from any of our software. And yeah, you can go through it all on your own time there. Expression wrinkles, physics, yada yada. And there's also I think a MetaHuman specific page as well. Um, yeah, I just Google stuff generally. That should bring up a page. Not sure why it's using, what is Yahoo? Okay. I'm using Google Chrome and it's using Yahoo. Anyways, you can find lots of stuff on here and the Learning Center. I know where that is right here. Probably find it over here. Yeah, Learning Centers, all our tutorials are categorized, and we have some new ones for Character Creator and Unreal. Anyways, okay, so once that character is imported in, let's go to the web or the folder where he's actually imported in. I think I just did it in this folder here. Okay, so I just called him Cool Guy. Okay, so Cool Guy, he has a skeleton animation blueprint, IK rig, and here's his skeletal mesh. Okay, skeletal mesh is the one you want to worry about. You'll get this immediately when your character is imported in. Okay, so there he is. There's Cool Guy. All right. That's him in the flesh. Basically just the HD morph pack guy with some kind of punk hair on him. And he's too cool to wear a t-shirt. But anyways, okay. So once you're done this, the first step you want to do we're going to create an audio-driven animation first. But before you do that, the most important thing that you'll ever do for your CC characters when you bring them into Unreal is click on your right click on the skeletal mesh and create CC control rig. Okay, very, very important, this step here, because once you do that, it gives you a CC control rig. Hooray, right here. Okay, and it also separates your metahumans into different skeletal meshes, just like regular metahumans are. You can see we have the body separated from the head here, or from the face rather. There's his disembodied face, just like a regular metahuman. Okay, if you want to mess around with those and swap the body parts, I can show you how to do that later. But let's go back and let's go ahead and create a animation first. So I did have some audio imported. Yep, so this is my 11 Labs sound that I imported in there. So Okay, so we're going to drive the animation using this audio. So let's go ahead and get started on that. The first thing you want to do is you want to, let's make a folder for, did I already have a folder? Let's just use our temp folder for now. I'm going to go ahead and right click and select MetaHumans and create MetaHuman performance. Okay, and we'll just call this audio anim test. Okay, so now we have this MetaHuman performance, and what we need to do is open that up, and we need to change. So right now we're going to use audio, okay, to drive the animation. So MetaHuman does a really good job, MetaHuman Animator does a good job at generating lip sync from the audio. And you can also use AccuFace for this as well, AccuLips rather, in iClone. So we need to choose our audio source here. What was it called? Webinar. Yeah, this one here. Okay, so there's our audio file loaded in. The control rig you need to check. So when we do that create control rig, the step that I just did, it creates a control rig for us called HD CC HD face rig. So you need to make sure you select this, okay? And then for the visualization mesh, it's whatever mesh you have. So I think I just we'll just call it punk face. I think I called him punk, right? Yeah, punk head, punk kid face. But you want to make sure you choose the face. We'll just call him cool guy face, because I did a couple tests here earlier. Okay, and there we go. There's his face. Zoop. Huzzah. Okay, and you can see we have the HD face controls here as well. Now down here, there's a couple other cool things you can do. You can actually create a mood if you want, like just set a mood for him. It works okay. I think in general, if you wanted to get like a base mood, if you're in a rush and you want to get a base mood for your character, we can just do neutral, or we can do happy. I mean, I don't know how happy he was, but maybe he was more complaining. So something like sad. Okay. It just resets the position every time you do that, which is annoying, but and you can change the mood intensity. So maybe not too intense. Maybe we'll do like a 0.75. Okay. Again, resets the position every time. Okay. And then we need to go ahead and process here on the top. Okay, so this gives us a quick animation. We can test it out here. Okay, so you can see there, and you have all the keyframes baked onto the HD face control rig. So what you can do here is you can export this as a level sequence. You can export it as an animation. Let's go ahead and export the animation. Okay, and we'll just call this in our temp folder. Yeah, sure, audio anim test. Just remember where it is. Okay, and you want to choose your target skeleton as the head again. So cool guy, what's his name? Cool guy face. Yeah, there we go. And create. Okay, so we can just save that and close it down. And then in our temp folder, now we have this animation, MetaHuman performance, and we have an animation sequence right here. So again, it's not going to come with the audio, but you can always input the audio. But I'll show you how to input the audio into iClone in just a sec here. Okay, cool. So what we can do now is we can just go ahead and bake our body animation to the CC rig. No, we don't need to do that. Okay, so again, we can export this by finding it. Oops, right-clicking and going down here to export IC facial animation. Okay, so this one's very important. This is available now with the new features. So this is the one you want to click on. And then you'll just go ahead and select the folder. Let's just select maybe a new temp folder here. Temp, oops, temp 2. Okay. Export to there. And then with our character in iClone, or character creator rather, you can import or select import MetaHuman facial animation. Okay. Now this isn't the same character, but it should be still okay. Import MetaHuman facial animation. And this is the one that I imported. I think so. Okay. And you can include head rotation or not. It's up to you. Again, this character is also a CC5 character, so it should import just fine onto the face. And after this, we'll get to I'll show you some quick video input, and then there's we can do the webcam if we have time at the very end there. Okay, something may be amiss here. Maybe we can just load in the other animation in Unreal. Oh, okay. Okay, I guess it just didn't connect the okay. Okay, so here we have the animation from Unreal now in Character Creator. Okay, so you can see the, fairly decent result right off the bat there. Okay, again, not the character that I wanted, but the character that works. And we need to input that audio in. So if we go into our character here, CC3 base plus, we can go into the sound, sound here, and then we can right click or, oh, it's sitting over here, showing on my other screen here, and import. And let's just import in that same webinar there. Now it's going to ask you all these windows are playing on the other screen here to apply it as a voice track or a sound track. If you select voice track, it'll give you Viseme shapes that you can manipulate, which is pretty good. And those can all be found in the Viseme track. We don't need all these. There you go. So there's our Viseme track. Make sure you apply it at the right position. Okay, and then your Viseme, you can see here, those Viseme keyframes. It just added a few. If you don't want these, you can just import it as a sound. Sometimes it just adds a little bit more exaggeration to the facial performance, but sometimes you may not want to do this as well too. So just be aware of that. Different results are going to give you, because it's just doing automatic lip sync. So if I delete that, you can see now obviously it still has the animation, but not the lip sync. So if we import as a sound as opposed to a voice, then it's not going to give us any Visemes. It's just going to give us like this sound clip right here. Okay. Okay. And then from there, we can just, you do different types of animation in iClone as well. Like we can throw in some facial expressions. Like if we just go up to animation and we just choose our face keys. Let's move this over here so we can actually see. So maybe we want to, let's just show the track so you can see what I'm doing here. We don't need gesture. We need expression. There we go. Those are expression layers. And, you can see all the expression layers right there. If you want, you can right click and you can downsample. You can break it. You can, do all this, flatten all layers. If you want to flatten your expression clip and then start with some new. So maybe here we want to have a little bit of a different expression. So just reset to 0, give us a starting keyframe, and then choose an expression like maybe he's more worried here. Okay, so from here to here. And then we can just double click there and add a keyframe. After he finishes saying that, we can just, reset back to 0, which will reset back to our original data. So you can see during that one little duration there, we gave him a bit more of a worried expression. Maybe that's just not cool. We want him to have an angry expression, so reset to 0. Let's just give him an angry expression. That one looks a little bit weird. And of course you can change the expressiveness. No, you can do all sorts of different stuff with this. There's tons of stuff you can do. So here, reset to 0, sorry. And then after saying that's just not cool, reset back to 0. And again, you can do this as long as you want. It's just, I'm just showing you the quick way to do it. And then in iClone, if we wanted to, maybe add a body animation to him, we can do something like, I believe in animation, I believe I downloaded one called Conversations, a pack called Conversations. There you go. I like to use this one. So I'll just close on the timeline for now. Again, I just briefly wanted to show you the workflow. And then once we're done this, maybe moving argument at the beginning here. And then we would export this as an FBX back to Unreal. Okay, so again, just using MetaHuman Animator, just one audio file with 11 labs and some quick animation in iClone, and then you can export it back to an FBX. So just make sure your time frame length is it's about 900 frames or so. File, and then export, and then export FBX here. Now in this time, you want to make sure you select range. You want to choose your range for your project. Okay, it's going to export the animation. All right, so, and also you may want to use smooth mesh. That often makes the quality a little bit better back when you're in Unreal Engine later on. Okay, and yeah, all your motion stuff here is fine. Okay, and then you'd export that. That would take like a minute or so, and then back into Unreal. And I already have it prepared in Unreal. I wanted to show you just the quick video input one as well here too, before we end off. And that would be in the demo test folder. I did the sequence, and was it in performance? Nope. Imported body animation. Okay, so here's the one that I completed with the other punk character here, the animation sequence. This is when I imported the FBX back into Unreal. So you can see it's basically the same performance, using the same animation, the same conversation argument. Again, no audio on this one, but the audio is easy to import. Okay, so this one I did a bit more with the facial animation. But again, that workflow is so easy. Just, it takes 10 seconds, well, like 10 minutes more like it, really, but to get results like this, I really like the workflow. And of course, you can replace this character with your MetaHuman character as well. So with your preview mesh, you change, well, you have to go into the blueprint, rather, to change the mesh to a MetaHuman. But yeah, if you want to do that, you can basically swap all the characters for MetaHuman body parts as well, and that's found in the Learning Center. I can show you that later if you guys want to see the tutorial. But we'll do one more quick animation using video input, and then we'll maybe just do some fun webcam stuff while I answer the Q&A. Just got some stuff here. Just for those of you guys in the chat there, yeah, we are answering. Oh yeah, sound's not captured by the recording streaming. Yeah, that's because when I was sharing earlier, I didn't have the option for sound. Yeah, I think when we generated this webinar meeting, the sound option was not included. So apologies, guys. Yeah, I just realized probably no sound for you guys. I should have checked the chat earlier. But anyways, we'll go to one more example here, just showing you video input. Okay, so and then we'll get to the Q&A. So for video input, you want to import an FBX as normal. Make sure your plugins are installed. Okay. For the video input, you need to make sure, of course, I forgot to mention this as well, that when you go up to in Unreal Engine, you want to make sure that all your plugins are installed. So if you go to Edit Plugins, you have to make sure all the Reillusion plugins are installed. So CC Control Rig, this is the one I mentioned earlier, the auto setup right here. And for MetaHuman, depth processing is for creating MetaHuman identities, and I can talk more about that later if you need. Basically all plugins, just make sure all the MetaHuman ones are activated. Okay, so there's like 6 or 7 MetaHuman ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 MetaHuman ones. You want to make sure that they're all activated. Otherwise, this whole functionality won't work. Let's do one more temp here. Right-click on the skeletal mesh here. Let's create control rig. So for this one, we're going to use a Live Link Hub. So tools and Live Link Hub. So this is kind of a new feature with Unreal Engine. And this is kind of where you do all the facial capture and all that fun stuff. And this is just loading up here in my other window, of course. Let's bring it over here. Okay, so for this one, you want to make sure your capture manager is your set to capture manager here for your working environment. You want to add a device. So right here, and then mono video ingest. So this is when you import video. For Live Link Face, that's when you do the facial animation, facial webcam capture, which I probably might have time to do later, but okay. And this one, you take video input, your directory for your video, which I'm not sure where I put it. Takes, I believe. Let's hope so. Yes, I believe it's in here. Okay, yeah, there we go. So Dumb Kai, this is just a video of me. And what you want to do here is you want to choose your folder directory, select the video, and then you want to add it to the queue. Okay, and then right here, you want to make sure that for this video, you can see it's kind of to the side. So you want to make sure that you, let's see, I need to rotate this one. Image rotation 270 degrees clockwise. Okay, so make sure that your video is, up and down, obviously not to the side, otherwise that's not going to work too well. So choose your folder. And then boom, here. Start. Okay, and that's going to take a minute or so. And it's going to create a new folder in our capture manager. And then we need to create a MetaHuman performance right after that. So it's just almost finished here, 99%. Should work just fine. Not sure why it's stuck at 99%, but I've already finished this process anyways. So, and after this, we'll get to the Q&A, guys. So if you want to see anything else in the Q&A, let me know. Okay, we'll just close it for now and go to our capture manager. I just don't want to waste any more time here. So here's the mono video ingest. So this is the Dumb Kai one I mentioned earlier. And you can see here's our capture data. Okay, so we need to use this capture data to create our MetaHuman animation. So if we right click and go to MetaHuman, MetaHuman, again, MetaHuman performance. Let's call it Dumb Kai. Okay. And for your input type on this one, there's a We want to choose monocular footage, okay, as opposed to the audio as before. Okay, and then our captured data was this dumb Kai one here I mentioned earlier, which we processed. Okay, and then our camera and our control rig, we need to change again to the HD facial control rig. So whenever you're creating a MetaHuman performance for your character, it's pretty much the same process, regardless of what you're using, depth footage, monocular footage, or the audio input, and then just choose your visualization mesh, which was a cool guy. And of course your face, it's the facial animation. Okay, and then I think there's a few other options down here that I don't need to worry too much about. But when you're finished that, just go ahead and process it. Okay. So you can see here, it's creating that facial animation performance from my audio there. And again, you can't hear the audio, so apologies for that. But you'll just have to imagine the audio. So it's not terrible, you know. But again, this is just from the video footage. There's no depth footage here. It's just like me on a webcam. And yeah, that's the kind of creation you can get. And then again, you can export it to a level sequence or export it to an animation and, you know, whatever kind of project you're working on. So yeah, that's really about all I wanted to show for, I did want to show the webcam stuff a little bit later, but yeah, I'm not sure if we'll have time for that. But yeah, so let's go to the Q&A. I want to answer the questions from you guys before we get into anything. Someone mentioned here. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about the sound again, guys. Okay, let's go to our Q&A anyways, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have in the Q&A, and we'll hopefully get some cool feedback. So Gilahad, pretty cool name. Is there a way to quickly reset the facial rig in Blender? Good question. In Blender, so it's the same functionality as it is in iClone. So if you just open up the and also in MetaHuman. So if you just open up your facial rig, let's go to some. Okay, that works. Oh, I don't have it loaded up in iClone here. Is it already? Nope. Okay, we'll go to character creator anyways. Character creator is a bit more visually appealing anyways. Didn't realize I didn't have it installed to my iClone. But yeah, there's some reset functionality in there as well. If I load it, I don't want to load up the Blender project right now. It'll just take a little bit longer. But yeah, there's a reset functionality there. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Carlos, we'll go to the next question anyways here from Carlos. Asks, is there any way to edit dynamic wrinkles in Blender as if using the ZBrush face tools? Oh, the dynamic wrinkles in Blender, you can. It's a bit more complex. The way I recommend using dynamic wrinkles, it's a good thing we're loading up Character Creator right now. To edit the dynamic wrinkles, I recommend just using it, messing around with them in Character Creator. Not too much in Blender, just because we have like in the skin gen tool, there's all sorts of different specific parameters that are only used for the wrinkles, and they're not used, like they haven't, Blender Data Link doesn't have all of those options yet. There's tons of stuff in Blender Data Link, just not all the stuff that you could be using. Just close this down. What was I going to show? Oh yeah, the HD head functionality. So with the HD head, you have this reset to 0. This was for I think Gilahad was your name. There's this reset to 0 button on the bottom. Okay, I know it's pretty easy to miss, but yeah, reset to 0 just like all the other ones, and it'll reset to whatever motion clip data you have on your current timeline frame in the timeline there. So I can show you a brief. Let's just load in a character anyway, so we have someone to play with. Yeah, but for Carlos's question, so yeah, I recommend just not doing too much of that stuff in Blender at the moment. I don't even know how to do it, to be honest. I mean, I've seen people do it, but wrinkle maps are not my forte, shall we just say. I'm more of an animator guy. But yeah, thanks for the question there. But that would be my recommendation, though. Question from Ahmed. Would the data link work if your goal is to send a base mesh and stylize it further in Blender? Yeah, absolutely. So Ahmed, at the beginning, I mentioned there's a few options in the Blender data link. And one such option was send morph. So when you send morph, basically all it does is it sends the mesh of your character to Blender. There's no rig, there's no other parts like hair or anything like that. It'll just send your character's mesh into Blender, and that's the functionality that you would use. I'll show you where it is again real quick. This one here, the Go B morph. It's not connected right now, but if this is it'll just be called Go morph or send morph. Okay. And then you can update morph as well right here. Okay, if you've done any morph editing in Character Creator, you can select update morphs here as well. So those are the two ones you want to use when you're using stylized characters. And in Blender, they also have the same button to just update back to Character Creator. So it's just back and forth. Like this tool is so awesome. I use it all the time, and really thankful for it. Yeah, and you mentioned the second point where there was without changing topology. Yeah, very important there. And the third question, any plans on integrating USD? As far as I know, USD is not in the cards at the moment. Yeah, I can't really say much on that because I haven't heard anything, to be honest, about it. And I haven't worked with that stuff in quite a while. But yeah, so I can't really comment on that. So apologies for that, Ahmed. All right. Oh, okay. So I just went to the chat here, and Joshua mentioned here. I'll probably get to that later. Panache asks, CC4 to CC5 update. I want to upgrade CC4 only, but I'm getting combos that include iClone, etc., which I have already. I just want to upgrade CC4. Yeah, good point. I think when you are updating, there's an option, I think, in the Real Hub, which all you need to do is there's an update option here somewhere, I believe. Again, I don't really need to purchase, but I believe if you just go here, there should be an option to update, maybe manage version or something. But I think from Real Hub, you can directly purchase without the need for other combos and stuff. And if not, just contact our customer support, because I know sometimes it's hard to find a single update item on the store. And that's can be a little bit of an annoyance, but you can definitely contact customer support about that. So apologies for the issue you're having with that, Panashi. Got some pretty cool names. Yeah. Okay, a question from anonymous attendee. Are there enough iClone users to consider using iClone for a major project? Remote users. Yeah, that's a good question that I get asked pretty often. People are always looking for more like iClone training material. And, the iClone community is not as huge as something like, Autodesk, like for Maya or for ZBrush or something like that. Those programs are like established for decades and have a very dedicated user base. And also cost a lot more. But yeah, I would say 100%. There's a lot of iClone users around the world for a major project to work remotely. I've worked myself personally on a number of different projects remotely, both in places like the States. I worked for people in France. Most recently, I've worked with people in Japan. And yeah, it's maybe not the easiest place to find, not the easiest to find, professional iClone users. But we do have in our learning center, we do have our global training center, which I'll just show you real quick here. I can move this back. I'm sharing the screen, I believe. The global training network, there's some dedicated teachers on here. You'll find certified trainers. this is one place to get to find people who are professionals in their various fields. Okay. So you'll find some good iClone people here. And yeah, there's 5 pages of it. So I work a lot with Mark Diaz. Chris has been using our software for decades. So all kinds of good people. And if you need recommendations, you can always just email me as well, and I can help you out with recommendations for that. So thanks for the question. Um, Another anonymous attendee asks, is it complicated trying to combine Blender and Unreal, etc., when ideally one program would be used for a major project? You know, everyone has their own baby, for example, so to speak. Some people just can use iClone for everything. Some people can use Maya for everything. Some people like myself, I'm more familiar with Blender. Um, and Unreal has been a learning curve, but I like to think I'm fairly decent at it now. But yeah, and I think especially Unreal and Blender are tools that really work hand in hand, and both are free, obviously, to a certain level. So yeah, I mean, good question, for using all sorts of different programs together. Um, that's why you kind of have to learn at least a few programs, because oftentimes in projects you'll be working with people who use Unreal, and if you don't know Unreal, then you're kind of screwed, right? So yeah, at least get a hand. I would be get professional on a couple of tools like Unreal and Blender. iClone is super easy learning curve compared to a lot of these. So yeah, that's a question that's kind of subjective, I guess. Let's go to the question from Amrit Singh. Can we do facial mocap for CC5 characters using iPhone on Unreal? Yeah, absolutely you can. So there's something called LiveLink, which you can use. But if you don't have the money for the LiveLink plugin, you can just import your CC5 characters like I just did, and you can use depth capture. You can use an iPhone. A lot of people use like something like a Rococo head cam to make your captures. Yeah, you can definitely do it. Just using because right now the most important thing I want to express is that MetaHuman characters and CC5 characters are essentially one and the same when it comes to their facial controls, their blend shapes. They're as compatible as you can possibly have two types of characters be in the 3D realm. So anything you can do with the MetaHuman characters, you can do with the CC5 characters. Okay. Joshua asks, is there any plans for 3D coat support? Yeah, I'm aware of 3D coat. I've used it previously. I don't know if there's any recent tutorials on that, Joshua, but we do have in our learning center, which is luckily the page I'm at right now. Um, if we go over to our, wait, where are we? Oh, we need to go back to the main page. Free online tutorials. If you're looking for a specific program when it comes like related to CC or something like that, search here under pipelines. Okay, because these are the dedicated pipelines. So I don't see 3D Coat here, but I know that we do have a lot of users who also use 3D Coat, and you can find some tutorials. I've seen some tutorials on YouTube, but unfortunately, there's no dedicated support for 3D Coat. But yeah, thanks for the question, Joshua. And we're always looking if you want to start a community for 3D Coat and iClone, we're more than happy to support you with that as well. So yeah. Okay, so that's a question from Amrit I answered previously. Okay, I believe this is the same question from Amrit. Yeah, so hopefully I answered your question there, Omri. Yeah, MetaHumans and CC5 characters can be animated completely together, no problem. They're as compatible as two peas in a pod. Yeah, and I just noticed here in the chat that our team mentioned that if you want to purchase CC5 upgrade, you don't need to buy the bundle. Yeah, I think as far as I can remember, you can do it from either your account backend or the Real Hub. So just be aware of that, guys. And Joshua, looks like you plan on doing tutorials on 3D Code. Awesome. Yeah. So Joshua, if you're doing tutorials on 3D Code, I'd encourage you to reach out to our team because we can actually offer you support and actually help to promote your tutorials. So we'd love to do that. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to me at kai@reallusion.com. That's just kai@reallusion.com. Or you can reach out to marketing@reallusion.com as well, who takes care of a lot of that stuff. And that really goes for everyone here as well. If you are doing tutorials and you want, to look for some support from the Reallusion community, just reach out to our team. We're always happy to help support people and get the word out there about your tutorials and your videos and stuff. So yeah, highly encourage that. All right. Let's see. Is that all for the Q&A? All right, yeah, looks like that's it for the Q&A. So cool. If anyone has any further questions, just feel free to get in touch with myself, kai@reallusion.com, or you can just reach out to our team, customer support, and we're happy to help you guys out. So yeah, super lovely to have everyone here. Again, I think I can show my webcam again. Didn't have time to get to that, but there's tutorials online that over the last 2 months, just because this MetaHuman animator has recently been updated in the last 2 months. Highly recommend checking out all the tutorials that they have on that kind of stuff. MetaHuman performance is super excellent, and the way that you can use it with character creator characters, just easily going back and forth with the auto setup. Hopefully you kind of got a gist of how to do that in today's webinar. So yeah, lovely to have you guys all along again for today. And I want to say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Hope you have a good Remembrance Day for those of you who are still in North America. And yeah, we'll see you guys again, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Thanks, guys. Take care.